Hello everyone. For today's story, we will be looking at security footage from a hospital that will make you never enter one overnight. This comes from a Reddit user. It was my first night working security at a hospital in a city. I was a college student at the time and needed some extra cash. The pay was good and the night shift only required me to sit in a little guard shack outside the emergency room entrance. That all sounded well and good until I clocked in and saw my predecessor for the night. The old man had been working at the hospital for over 30 years. He told me that most nights were slow and uneventful and that if I made it past midnight, I'd probably get some donuts and coffee delivered by a local donut shop as a thank you for not bothering the staff. He also warned me about Patient X, saying, "Never call for a code blue or anything like that unless you see the patient do something really bad. They will chew you out because they think it's a prank. And the code blues are real." I didn't think much of it and went over my rounds. About 2 hours into my shift, I heard what sounded like screams from a horror movie in the ER. I thought nothing of it. As the old man said, code blues were called all the time. Then I started hearing footsteps near the guard shack. I just assumed it was a nurse or doctor making their rounds. Suddenly, the door flew open and the old man came sprinting out with a wild look on his face. He started screaming at me, "Get out of here now. Get out while you can." Before I could even respond, he shoved me out the door and locked it behind me. I was then met with the sight of a woman standing there with a bloody meat cleaver in her hand. I screamed and ran to my car. I kept on running until I got home. I didn't even stop to see if she was following me. When I finally calmed down, I called the police to tell them what happened and to ask if they had any record of the incident. They told me that there had been a disturbance at the hospital, but said that it must have been some teenagers messing around because no one had been hurt. They also said that no record of the incident would be kept as long as I didn't press charges. I told them that I didn't want to press charges and hung up. I was very shaken and scared, but I figured that if the police weren't concerned, then I shouldn't be either. The next morning I went back to work, expecting to hear about the incident from my coworkers. No one knew what I was talking about when I asked. So I figured that my crazy stalker must have been an outside intruder who got away. I asked my boss about the previous night, and he gave me the same answer that the police had given me. Relieved that it wasn't something more sinister, I went back home. The rest of the week passed without incident, and I even made it a point to walk past the hospital on my way to the grocery store so that I could prove to myself that I wasn't being followed. However, the following Sunday night, I was once again met with the sight of a woman with a meat cleaver standing in front of the hospital. She looked at me and smiled, then invited me in to meet Patient X. I screamed and ran off in the opposite direction. This time, though, the police report actually helped. After describing the woman and what had happened, the police were able to pull up security footage of her leaving the hospital after smashing the windows of several cars in the staff parking lot. This time they took my complaint seriously and arrested her. Turns out that she had been released from the psychiatric ward earlier that day and apparently didn't think that I was supposed to let her out. As for Patient X, I never found out who they were, but it turns out that the old guard had been hiding in the guard shack with me after she broke in. My boss later told me that she had a history of violence, which is why they had to keep her locked in the psychiatric ward. She ended up getting discharged, somehow got loose, killed the old guard, and then tried to get out. I quit the next day. That was the last time I ever went anywhere near that hospital. Let's see what our other users had to say. An entitled one said, "OP, run, don't walk away from that job." Barry White said, "OP sounds like a youngin'. Stayed at that job cause he wanted to be a hero instead of packing up and getting the F away from there. Heroism isn't always rewarded, especially when dealing with someone with mental issues." Lanky Tank said, I bet if OP had pressed charges, the news would have picked this up. Imagine getting canceled for killing a guard who was trying to stop you from doing your job." Gilgamesh said, "OP should have listened to the old man. He clearly knew what he was talking about and was trying to help." Crimson Shadow said, "Glad OP is okay, but damn, the old guard was a G for helping OP escape and then dying in the process." If you like this content, check out my page where I publish extra stories. Also hit that subscribe button because I put out new videos every single day. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.